Hey, it's Brian from the Economic Report. Thanks for joining us. Today we are talking about the Trump and Putin meeting in Alaska, and it's a super important meeting. On the surface, of course, there's going to be handshakes, there's going to be smiles, there'll be video cameras, yes, there'll be pictures being taken, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of other stuff going on. And if you think it's a little bit odd to have a meeting in Alaska, then you're not alone. There's military bases there, but beyond that, that's territory the United States had purchased from the Russians like back in the 1800s. And on top of that, let's talk about the vast array of natural resources, not just in Alaska, but right there over the border in Russia, of all places. So you're not going to want to miss this episode. And all that we're asking you for is a like and a subscribe, because it does wonders for this channel and YouTube loves it. And the fact is that it says thumbs up and it doesn't cost you a cent to do something like that. So thank you very much. So Donald Trump is sitting down with Vladimir Putin, and they're going to be talking about things that are obvious, right? We're talking about Russia. We're talking about Ukraine. We're talking about the war that's been going on for years. We're going to talk about the continued encroachment of Russia into Ukraine. And of course, the bigger power play as to Russia controlling a larger and larger swath of land between them and the people in Eastern Europe. But there's more going on here. And of course, it's access to the Black Sea. It's access to Crimea, and of course, goodness sakes, an oil and gas pipeline that flows all the way to Europe that's been shut down, and Russia's missing out on tons and tons of economic activity. So this is really worth covering, and it's an extremely important episode because there's a geopolitical factor to this beyond just the war in Ukraine. So stay with me for the next 10 minutes, and I'll break down what's being said and what wasn't said, and maybe how this meeting is really going to ripple into your gas bill, your grocery bill, and maybe even your job security. So we know from the very beginning that Donald Trump had said that he did not create this war, he inherited this war, and he wants to do something about it. He wants to make sure that whatever was started during the Biden administration or the Obama administration or even the Bush administration is going to be brought to a halt. He's saying he's trying to clean up somebody else's mess because Trump is the deal maker, right? The ultimate deal maker. And he wants to see some real change and peace so deals can get done. The fact is that Russia has encroached into the Ukraine more than once. And it's happened over about a 12 to 14 year period. And so these are issues that just aren't going away. As a matter of fact, Russia keeps making a move further and further to the west, and as a result, it's putting the rest of Europe on edge. And those are our NATO alliances from Poland to Germany. You get the picture, and it's a very difficult situation, and it's going to get very difficult for Russia if they keep on pushing, because at some point in time, you as a member of NATO must do something about this. And as far as NATO is concerned, NATO standing for the North Atlantic Tactical Organization, the fact is that all these countries are in it together, and they're to stand up against countries just like Russia. This is a leftover thought from the Cold War, but make no question about it. This military alliance is alive, it is well, and it's willing to take action against further aggression towards the West. So, of course, you're asking yourself the other question, what else is in play here? This is the stuff that is on the surface. What don't we see that's happening behind the scenes? And, of course, part of this is a play for rare earth minerals. Like, make no question about it. The United States has already set an agreement with Ukraine about mining rare earth minerals. Another story to follow that's really important is whether or not Russia is cozying up more to China, and what's in Russia's best long-term interest, and it might not be a relationship with China. And the fact is, there's another play here, and of course, the play is the strength of the U.S. dollar, and that's something that's just not going to go away. And the fact that Brazil, Russia, India, and China have been working to weaken the U.S. dollar and come up with a completely different reserve currency. So the fact that the president is meeting Putin has a lot to say that there's a bigger story going on. Now, of course, we know that Trump has always said that he likes Putin, he admires Putin, he respects Putin, and I think it's really beyond flattery, of course. And from the very beginning, there has been this Russian collusion story that's been going on. Whether it's true, whether it's not, the Steele dossier, whether it's true or not, I don't know. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think it makes a difference right here, right now in history. What really matters the most is the fact that Russia and the United States are sitting down. They're talking, and they're talking about the future of Europe and the future of Ukraine. And the irony is that Zelensky's not there. The president of Ukraine is not even at this meeting. So it's another thing to take into consideration. So my guess is that this meeting that's taking place over the Russian-Ukraine war has a lot to do with Russia and Ukraine. But I'm here to say there's no question in my mind, there's a whole nother level about discussions that are taking place that has nothing, and I do mean nothing, to do with the Ukraine. And that's for sure, because we know there's bigger power plays going on. And of course, there's another question here, that Russia is a super mineral-rich country. It is a huge country, a vastly wide, long-ranging country, maybe even the biggest country on the planet. And with that comes a ton of natural resources. And those natural resources, particularly the rare earths, are something you want to pay particular attention to. And those rare earths really do have a significant play of the future, whether it's for building missiles, whether it's for building jet fighters, whether it's for helping build cell phones. The fact is, these rare earth minerals that exist are going to be in play here over the next 25 to 50 years. And the fact is, Russia can trade those elements with the rest of Europe, or they can continue to trade with the Chinese and North Korea. And with that comes a bigger question: where does Russia's future lie? And Trump's going to make a compelling argument this weekend and Monday and Tuesday that Russia's future really isn't with the Chinese, nor is it with North Korea. The real future is going to be with economic development with the West. And that's the play that needs to be said and needs to be understood moving forward. Hey, I'm Brian from the Economic Report, and if you found some value in this, understand that there is a very, very powerful future that exists meeting with Russia and the United States, between Trump and Putin. And if you found something of value here, drop a comment in the comment section below. And most of all, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and give me a thought. Do you really think that Trump can iron something out with Putin, or are you super suspicious of the relationship? Do you think that there's been a long-standing relationship with maybe a deeper organization this entire time between the two of them? Or is most of this just pure media nonsense? And folks, just remember, you are on the Economic Report, where we take DC politics, Wall Street economics, and bring them down to Main Street. The biggest battle you fight is the one between your ears of your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Folks, put on a smile, say hi to someone, because it doesn't cost a dime and it does the world a lot of good. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next video.